Hi, welcome to Camp Chats. This is part of Metro Parents Virtual Camp Fair Week, and we are so excited today to talk with Weston Outlaw. He is the Director of Special and Summer Programs with Cranbrook Educational Community, and he's going to help us answer the big question, elephant in the room, and talk about safety at camps this summer. So welcome, Weston.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This, I'm sure, when you all sat down and started talking about what summer camp 2021 was going to look like, very early on, you started talking about safety. And
Yeah.
what was that going to look like? And what were those conversations like to say, okay, we want to bring families back. We want to make sure that kids can have a great camp experience. How do we do this?
Right. No, it's a good question. And, you have a variety of camps that may have opened last summer and did not open last summer. So there's some experience there that they're using from previous summers. And at Cranbrook, we did not operate last summer. So what we're basing our safety off of is what we've been managing in the schools, the pre-K through 12 school that we have on campus. We're basing a lot of our safety protocols off that. So of the variety of camps that are around Michigan, they have their own internal protocols that may be from like a larger organization that they're part of, or maybe they're part of the American Camp Association. But most importantly is to really connect with their county health division.
Mhm.
And see what protocols are coming from them. And then also some camps are licensed through the state of Michigan, depending on what they're doing. And if they are like we are at Cranbrook, they are providing us kind of a guidebook that incorporates some of the field guide from the American Camp Association for COVID protocols. But it is more in line strictly with Michigan, which is really nice. And it connects us with what they're expecting from us. So we're really basing it off of that this summer.
Have you seen a lot of those changing as, when you start planning to, okay, maybe we're a couple months into it and this has changed, a couple months into it, this has changed, just because the numbers in the state have fluctuated and changed, and we get so excited when we see them going down. And so, they say, okay, these are more updated recommendations for what the expectation for health this summer is going to look like.
Yeah, well, as we all know, the vaccine isn't really focused on children right now. So I think most camps are going the way that Cranbrook is, and that's going to be that it's just going to be another COVID summer. If you want to use just kind of a blanket statement, meaning that we're going to incorporate all of the normal protocols for COVID, because of that when we get to camp, you may have some of your summer staff vaccinated at that point, but probably not all, and definitely not the kids. So we really can't be thinking anything far from what we would expect from even last summer. The guidelines that are coming out of the state of Michigan camp licensing, there was a revision in November, but really there hasn't been much change, and I think it's because of what I just mentioned, that they're really, if there was a lot of vaccinations for kids, and we were moving out of that kind of scenario where no one was vaccinated, I think we may have seen another update. But what they are providing in that guidebook is very helpful, and we're sticking with it along with the Oakland County Health Division because of Bloomfield Hills. And that's just enough, along with the ACA field guide, definitely enough for us to be able to operate safely.
What kinds of things have you learned over the course of the school year? That you're basing a lot of your safety and recommendations off of what you've learned this school year. What kinds of things have you learned about, like, protocol when kids aren't masked, like when they're eating or when they're swimming, and or doing activities that are very camp activities but are really hard to do, and or just impossible to do masked? You obviously can't eat. So what are those kinds of things that you guys have learned that are going to make camp feel very seamless?
Well, and I think from what I've heard from parents that have called in, you know, they get concerned about some of the policies that we've put up on the website. And, you know, and I would just advise parents that you understand that these are just kind of major statements that we're trying to show you that we're trying to be safe. Points where we wouldn't be using masks, of course, or other camps, I would imagine, are of eating, like you mentioned, swimming, or anything in or near water.
Mhm.
You know, and like we're planning to use the pool based on the mandates that are set in Michigan right now. But you know, if you're not going to be, or if you're in or near water, the masks would be off. Eating, and then also possibly outside in sweaty conditions, because really we all know that if the mask is wet, it becomes less safe, or and not even
Right,
it doesn't even protect you or those around you anymore.
right.
So really, when the mask comes off, the distance is what really helps.
Mhm.
And the advantage we have in the summer as summer camps is that we normally operate outdoors. I can't speak for all, but most of us that are summer camps are operating outdoors. So as opposed to our schools in Michigan in the dead of summer, or I'm sorry, in the dead of winter, we hope to be outside and really enjoy the nice weather. So the distance, hopefully, you know, it won't be that big of a problem, you know, compared to the school time.
Oh, that's great. And you're not wrong. That's what's great about summer camp is, that you can eat outdoors and you can put food on trays, or, I mean, and kids love sitting in the grass and eating, or even just sitting in the grass and having class, this the idea of being outside and making it just a little bit different makes it just different than what they're used to from school, and sort of creates a lot of those memories of this was how much fun I had today. So really being able to utilize that is fantastic, and you're not wrong. It's a lot. It is harder than what you've done in school for the year, because you get through November and December and into the much colder months, and you're eliminating a lot of that outside time. So so that's great. The one catch is, what if it rains?
Right. Yeah. And you know, what I'm focused on at Cranbrook is, you know, every camp has to look at their own facilities, and their own ability to use what's around them to determine, you know, what the best course of action is. And at Cranbrook, you know, when it rains, I'm looking at, well, we have 1,600 kids on this campus that have been in school since September. So, and they've been indoors. And it's remained open. We've had cases on the campus, but they haven't spread.
Mhm.
Those are public statistics that are mandated by the state of Michigan. All schools have to report those stats on their website, so those are available for anyone to see. Um, so we know it. We know we can do it. You know, we know that we can do indoors. So what we're doing is, normally our camps don't use as many spaces as the school does. So what we're doing this summer is to expand those spaces, you know, use more spaces indoors when we need to. Of course, we want to be outside, but if we have to be inside, we would use more spaces. For other camps and us, there's also the possibility that we would have to consider canceling that day, and saying that if you have a camp that doesn't have the ability to expand inside, they may have to say, if in inclement weather, we don't have that ability. So I don't want to speak for other camps. You know, you want to make sure that you speak with somebody from that camp, or look at their guidelines. And I'm sure that they're not fully confirmed yet. So be patient with camps too, because we're trying to ride this out to see how things are going as we get closer to the summer.
Sure.
Right. You know, and I think that's one thing that parents, you know, as much as you don't know, we don't know either, or as much as you want things to happen, we do too. So organization and versus the person, I mean, we're all kind of the same. And so we're really just trying to move along, and we're very, you know, like I said before, we're staying very close with the state of Michigan and the associations to make those calls as closer to camp as possible. But we'll be in touch with you, you know, and I'm sure the other camps will be too.
Sure. Well, and that makes perfect sense. To say, especially, you're not going to have as many kids at camp on a daily basis at Cranbrook as you do in school. So, being able to really expand so much more gives you a lot of options, and finding facilities, and those kinds of things are fantastic. What kinds of things can parents do to really prepare their children for what safety looks like? While you have guys have a lot of kids in school right now at Cranbrook, um, you might have some kids coming to camp that haven't been to in-school camp and might not be as fluid with words like pods or cohorts, or know and understand some of these safety words that have become, so ubiquitous now. But what kinds of things can parents talk about to prepare their kids for what safety is going to look like and how camp is going to look different this year?
It's an interesting question, Hillary, because I've been thinking about it, and I parents have been calling in, like I said, and what I find myself saying is, over preparing may be, maybe a disadvantage. And what I mean by that is, what I've seen in the fall here is that we were so worried about the kids wearing, especially our 3-year-olds and our 4-year-olds wearing masks all day.
Right.
How is this going to happen? And then some of them go into aftercare after school because their parents can't pick them up right away. So like, oh my gosh, how can this happen? They are amazing. These 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and are up to our high schoolers have been incredible. And I think, they have a different mindset than us, especially the younger kids. It just is whatever is supposed to happen, they just follow suit. And and as long as you don't overthink it, and it may come off as, I don't understand why this is a big deal, mom or dad, or whomever. And it just, they have, I wouldn't even use the word resilient, because it's not like they are coming back from something. They just do it. And so I think I guess my point is that when you're working with your child, especially if you haven't been in person for school this year, is to don't overthink it. We're wearing masks, we're being a little bit more distant, and we'll cover those things at camp, but we'll do it in a way that just seems a little bit natural. And you as a parent, if you're too worried about these things, I think that it's just going to just increase anxiety
Right.
unnecessarily,
Right.
because from what this is from my own opinion and what I've gathered here at Cranbrook, but I see that there's just so, the kids are just willing and ready to do it. And I'm talking about our 3-year-olds too. It's a really amazing to see. So to prepare, read the camp's welcoming letter, or the information that they provide you before camp starts about what you're supposed to bring to camp. I'm sure there's going to be a COVID section in there, and just read through that, and talk with your child about what the different scenarios. But just remember what I mentioned here. Hopefully that it gives you a little input, that just to not overthink it. I know that it doesn't seem like a lot of good advice, but I hope it is, because it's I truly feel that that's the way to go for this.
It's been fantastic. Weston, thank you so, so much for joining us for our camp chats and helping ease parents' minds about safety. This has been wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.